If you're a sole proprietor, you may need to file Schedule C of Form 1040 with end-of-year profit and loss information. Many people scramble at tax time to gather all their income and expenses details. Creating a monthly profit and loss worksheet can help track business income and expenses, making tax preparation easier. We will use Google Sheets to create such a template. I'm going to start by entering the key details from Schedule C, including the tax year, business name, IRS business code, accounting method, and whether I materially participated in the business. I will also add a section for tracking car use, as this information is required when deducting car expenses. This includes when the vehicle was placed in service and the total business miles driven. Keep in mind that only business miles are deductible, commuting miles are not, so it's important to track them properly. For some fields, I will create drop-down menus using data validation. To do this, go to Data, Data Validation, then add the options you want to appear in the drop-down menu. You can also set warnings for invalid entries and customize the display style. Next, I will enter the 2025 standard mileage rate of 70 cents per mile. For reference, the 2024 rate was 67 cents per mile. If you need to adjust the view, you can increase the zoom percentage. Before continuing, I will update the font for the entire worksheet by selecting the top left rectangle between row 1 and column A and changing the font to Nuneato Sans. Formatting tip. If you have details you want to keep but de-emphasize, you can format them with italics, a smaller font, or different color to make them less prominent. Next, I will enter all Part 1 and Part 2 of Schedule C, income and expense items, adding corresponding line numbers. For income, you can list client names or types of income received. Some common income sources that you may receive at the end of the year include 1099 NEC for non-employee income, 1099 miscellaneous, which is less common, and 1099K gig work from Uber, Amazon, and other companies. You also may want to list any cash or tip income. Formatting tip. If text isn't auto-populating, enable autocomplete under Tools, Suggestion Controls, and check the Enable Autocomplete plus any other options. For businesses selling physical goods, I will add line items for returns and cost of goods sold, concluding with the gross income line item. Schedule C lists expenses in 2 columns, with some having subcategories. We can change formatting for the subcategories, such as making them smaller or lighter in color, but for now I will add all expenses first, then adjust formatting later. Instead of manually entering expenses, I could convert the Schedule C from a PDF to an Excel file and then import it into Google Sheets. However, manually entering data helps ensure I fully understand each line item. Line 27 lists other expenses, which includes necessary business expenses that don't fit standard categories. You can add additional line items as needed. I will extend the sheet to track income and expenses monthly. Now I'm going to do some formatting. First, I will apply a white background to the entire sheet. Next, I will right-align the line items for a more organized look. To maintain consistency, use the painting formatting tool to copy styles between cells. Finally, I will highlight all data entry cells with light pastel yellow fill to make them easy to identify. To check formatting and formulas, I will enter $, in all cells and set the format to currency. This helps identify any formatting issues before we enter real data. I will add a basic sum formula in column D to total the monthly amounts. This is just to get things started. Some of these formulas will need to be changed later. Once that's done, I will remove the dummy data from the title rows. Then I will merge some title cells across the monthly columns to keep the layout clean. I will also use accent colors to highlight totals, making them stand out. Finally, to prevent accidental edits, I will add borders around important calculation cells to identify them quickly. Now, I need to adjust the formula for the business mile deduction. Car and truck expenses can be deducted on Schedule C if you qualify, using either actual expenses or the standard mileage rate. My worksheet will only use the standard mileage rate as it is easier to track and a more conservative method. This rate already includes gas, maintenance, and small repairs. But parking and tolls can be deducted separately. At the top of my worksheet, I will add monthly cells to track business miles. Since my tracker mainly focuses on currency-based data, I want to keep mileage calculations separate to avoid confusion. The formula would take the total number of miles for the year and multiply it by the standard mileage rate. For the monthly deductible car expenses, I will divide the total annual deduction by 12 to evenly distribute it. Alternatively, you could calculate month by month by multiplying the month's mileage by the standard rate. To prevent accidental changes, I will format these cells as calculations so I don't overwrite them. Next, I will update the total expenses formula to sum all expenses categories, ensuring everything calculates correctly. Before finalizing, I will adjust the formatting slightly and enter realistic dummy data to test the worksheet, making sure the income and expenses calculation works properly. Few businesses qualify for this deduction, but if you use part of your home solely and exclusively for business, you may be able to claim it on your Schedule C and track it in this worksheet. There are two ways to calculate the business use of home deduction. The regular method considers all home expenses, such as rent, mortgage interest, utilities, etc., then allocates a portion based on the percentage of your home used for business. This requires more extensive record keeping and is less conservative. I'm going to use the simplified method, which allows you to deduct up to 300 square feet at a flat rate of $5 per square foot, making it easier to calculate. The formula is square footage of home used for business times $5 per square foot. Since the business use square footage remains the same throughout the year, I will calculate the total annual deduction and divide it by 12 for monthly calculations, similar to how I handled the car expenses. On Schedule C, the business use of home deduction appears on line 30. The final and most important item in our worksheet is the net profit calculation, which corresponds to line 31 on Schedule C. I will add this at the bottom of the worksheet. The formula takes gross income and subtracts total expenses and total business use of home, if that deduction applies to you. I will copy the formula across all months to track profitability over time and see which months are the most profitable for my business. To make the worksheet look cleaner and more professional, I will hide the grid lines by going to View, Show, and unchecking grid lines. Next, I will review and fix any remaining formatting issues. I will also add a business financial summary at the top of the worksheet, making it easy to quickly assess how my business is performing. This summary will include total income and total expenses for the year so far. One less important addition for sole proprietors and small businesses is estimating self-employment tax. Since W-2 employees have taxes withheld from their paychecks, but self-employment individuals do not, it's crucial to know how much tax might be owed and whether estimated tax payments are necessary. I will create a self-employment tax calculation, which is completed on Schedule SE of Form 1040. The formula follows IRS guidelines. Take the net income, which is income minus expenses, multiply it by 92.35%, which is a portion subject to self-employment, and then multiply that result by 15.30%, which includes 12.40% for Social Security and 2.9% for Medicare. I will apply this calculation across all months and format this section to match the rest of the worksheet. To make this information more accessible, I will add the self-employment tax calculation to the business summary at the top, so I can quickly see how much of my net profit may need to be set aside for taxes. If you plan to make quarterly estimated payments, you can divide the self-employment tax by 4 to know how much to pay each quarter. I will also include an operating margin calculation and adjust the formatting to highlight the key figures. Lastly, I will pre-populate the template with sample data and include a link to IRS business codes for easy reference. Also, I will review and fix any final formatting consistently in my worksheet. One feature I like to add to all my worksheets is a quality check column, a quick way to double-check calculations. I will create a simple formula that subtracts the sum of all monthly amounts from the end-of-year totals. If everything is set up correctly, I should see zeros in all rows, since monthly amounts are either total at the end or evenly allocated throughout the year. To keep this section accessible but out of the way, I will group the column, so I can expand it when I need it but keep it hidden otherwise. For the final touch, I will bold and enlarge the worksheet title to make it stand out. Now the worksheet is fully formatted and ready to use. If you need a printable version, select the area you want to print, then go to File, Print, or use Command+P on Mac or Control+P on PC to open the Print menu. From there, you can adjust the print area, page breaks, and scaling options to fit your needs. The last step is to protect formula cells to prevent accidental changes or data entry errors. I will select the cells I want to lock, then go to Data, Protect Sheets and Ranges. From there, I can click Set Permissions, choosing either to restrict editing access or to display a warning when someone tries to modify a protected range. I will repeat this for any other key sections that should remain unchanged. If you attempt to edit a protected cell, a warning message will appear. You can choose to override it if necessary or disable protection for 5 minutes to make adjustments. And that's it! Our profit and loss tracker is now complete. This worksheet will help you track income and expenses throughout the year, prepare for tax season with a ready-to-use Schedule C summary, and monitor self-employment tax estimates and financial performance. Thanks so much for watching.